Hi, everybody. It's Congressman Jamie Raskin from Maryland's 8th District. Sending all of my best greetings and regards to all of my wonderful constituents out in the 8th District, in Frederick and Montgomery and Carroll County and beyond. Hello to everyone. And this is National Mental Health Month. And it came in the nick of time because the country is experiencing some severe mental and emotional stress in the COVID-19 crisis, with the economic aftershocks and the profound recession we've entered into, and all of the fear and dread and anxiety that people are living with. The good news is that we've got remarkable resources in our community, and we have a community that takes mental and emotional health seriously. And we want to make sure that everybody gets the help that they need. The public opinion polls show that 50% of Americans are now reporting an increase in mental and emotional stress. And I am not ashamed to report that I've experienced a lot of sleeplessness since this started, and I am not sleeping normally. So I'm going to be listening for some tips from our panelists about that. But we've got three great people here. One from Carroll County is Carroll Carminic, who's the president of the National Alliance on Mental Illness in Carroll County. We have Stephanie Rosen, who's the executive director of the National Alliance on Mental Illness in Montgomery County. And then we have Gerald Blessing, who is representing Nami, the National Alliance on Mental Illness in Frederick County, where he is the family support group facilitator. So they've all got different roles in the National Alliance on Mental Illness, which I've worked with for a long time, going back to my days in the Maryland State Senate. And they really play a great role as an advocate for increasing funding and investment in mental health services for people across our state. So with that, I want to pose the first question, which is, what are the key problems that each of you are seeing in your work, in your job, and tell us what your job is, and what are the things that people should be looking out for in their families, in their homes, among their friends, in their neighborhoods, in their workplaces. And perhaps we could start with you, Stephanie Rosen, Executive Director of NAMI in MoCo.
Sure. Thank you for hosting this. I really appreciate it. Mental health is something that we live and breathe every day, and are really grateful that people are paying attention to it, especially right now. An article was just published in Time magazine referencing a new study, and they found a 700% increase in adults who meet the criteria for serious mental illness. It was a 3% rate in adults throughout the country in 2018, and it is now a almost 30% rate. So we are seeing enormous mental health consequences from this pandemic. We know that joblessness is also correlated with suicide. Not caused by, but correlated with. We also know that isolation is something that we want to avoid when promoting mental health, yet we're all being forced to physically isolate ourselves. We're trying to promote that people don't socially isolate themselves, just to keep the physical distance, but do keep in touch. But the other bright side is that most people make it through a crisis fairly resiliently. Yes, it's stressful times, and yes, people are experiencing symptoms of mental illnesses, but the vast majority of people are resilient. It's those who perhaps are going to struggle a bit more that we worry about, and we want to connect them with treatment. We know that the sooner someone gets involved with treatment, the better their long-term outcomes are. Some options for treatment include attending a free NAMI class or support group, absolutely seeking out a mental health care provider, and we've got some resources that we're going to share to help you do that.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Carroll, let's come to you. Carroll Carminic, he's the president of NAMI in Carroll County.
Hi. Here in Carroll County, we do have the hotline for the COVID-19. So if you're having questions and services, we do have our phone line open that people can call and leave a message and talk to me at any time. And then we are really lucky enough here to have mobile crisis units. So that makes sure that, you know, if someone has a crisis, that they can get the services they need. I'm finding that people are calling the Nami phone line because they're having difficulty linking up to counselors, and we can help them out, you know, until they can get linked up to them.
Is that because people are afraid to go in physically to the offices of doctors and stuff, and so they're needing to connect by phone?
So a lot of them are working by video to see their clients, and that they aren't getting responses, or, you know, the psychiatrist wasn't taking new people until, so then people are being left out of being able to get in to see a psychiatrist or a counselor.
I see.
And then one of the big problems I see too is that people have very high deductibles, and they're calling us asking what they can do, you know, to make sure to get in for some kind of counseling because they need that help now.
And you're able to counsel them on that?
Yes.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Carol. And let's go to Gerald Blessing, who's in Frederick County, and he's the facilitator for the family support groups. Tell us a little bit about that, if you would, Gerald, and then tell us what you're seeing out there and what are the major warning signs that people should be aware of when someone really needs to be consulting someone.
Thank you for this forum. The facilitator, as a facilitator for the family support group, we have family members together, families who have somebody with a mental illness. It is just for the families without that, who don't have that person with them when they come to the support group. We had our last in-person support group at the beginning of March, just before the quarantine started. So we've been getting a number of inquiries through our hotline. It's a 211 line, actually, that works through the Mental Health Association here in Frederick. We've gotten a lot of inquiries, and so we decided that we're going to pursue the virtual family support group work. And in fact, we're having our first meeting tonight. We're having our first meeting this evening at 7 o'clock. We have generally done this on the first Thursday of every month. This will be our first time as an online interaction with a support group. And the people that are we're getting a lot of extra calls recently in the last month and a half. And that's why we decided to pursue this virtual forum and take action on that. The folks are, we always like to point out when they are sensitive to, when they feel like they might be just overwhelmed, we'd like to let them know that you are not alone. And when we each start telling our story in this family support group, we realize how much we have in common. I myself have been doing this have been involved with NAMI for many, many years. And I hope it's not a discouragement to them that I need to be continuing to be involved. But it is something that for most families, it just doesn't seem to go away.
Well, that makes me think, Gerald, I mean, is there a difference between people who have a long-term struggle with mental illness, for example, schizophrenia, and then people who are just experiencing higher degrees of stress and anxiety now? Are you trying to address the full complement of people who come in with different symptoms?
We are mainly focused on the long term, but we welcome those that are just recently becoming aware of this issue in their families. And we have had a number of contacts recently for that very reason. And that comes through our 211 line, which is actually goes to MHA, Mental Health Association. So we are happy, as many other parts of Maryland, I think, also have, this professional group, whereas NAMI or the Family Support Group, we're trained volunteers.
I see. All right, well, before I ask all of you guys how people can get in touch with you, let me pose this question to Stephanie, and we'll go around one more time. You know, what are the healthy ways that you're recommending for people to deal with the stress and the anxiety and the dread that seem to be a natural byproduct of this terrible disease and isolation at home? And then how do you know, or how does the family know when it goes beyond that and they really need to seek professional attention for someone? You know, when we're dealing with, you know, more serious symptoms, suicidal thoughts or profound depression, how can people sort that out? Stephanie, could I start with you maybe?
Sure. So ways to protect and maintain your mental health, or just promote your mental health, include going on a news diet. Sometimes people need to go on a social media diet. When I say diet, I just mean reduction. You know, sometimes watching the news, it skews how much positivity we think there is in the world. But doing something as simple as writing down 3 things a day that you're grateful for, we call this a gratitude journal, can help you scan the world for the positive. It's something that I personally do. I'm also personally coloring for the first time as an adult. I'd heard of it, but finally doing it because, you know, I'm running out of strategies to maintain my own mental health with a small child at home. Getting outside, it's nice that it's going to be nice outside in a safe manner. Taking advantage of the outdoors is extremely important, and calling and checking in on friends and family. Making sure that this physical distance doesn't mean you're isolated. And, you know, I think the other thing too is, how do you know when someone needs professional help? I say you don't have to diagnose your loved one before seeing a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a social worker, or even your primary care. You see that professional who has gone to many, many years of schooling in order to get that diagnosis. When it comes to physical health, we don't expect our parents or sisters or kids to diagnose us. For some reason, we feel this burden with mental health where I need to know it's depression before I go see a professional. See a professional if it's affecting your daily life, if it's affecting your ability to eat, if it's changing your personality, if it's affecting your ability to sleep, if it's affecting your ability to work and concentrate, then it's time to see someone. And that doesn't mean you have a diagnosable mental illness. You're going to see a professional to get more information. And that's what's important, is reaching out. And, you know, there's a really great free text line. Anyone can text it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's 741-741. You can text the word NAMI, N-A-M-I, to it. And they've got really fantastic people on the other end who are willing to talk to you about anything.
That's great. Well, that's great advice. Thank you, Stephanie. Carroll, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, I think that for all of us, we need structure. Everything has really changed. So if you could make a schedule for what you're going to do that day, you make that schedule, make sure to put positive things in there, like yoga, Tai Chi, you know, working in the garden. And then people will do better if they find things that they're interested in. So then suddenly wanting to go on a free app to learn French is my idea of having fun. And then people want to know, you know, can somebody talk to me now before I get in? Know that Psychology Today is a website, and a lot of those counselors will do a free phone session.
Great. And Gerald, how about you? Any thoughts on this?
The first thing that I suggest to people are things that I feel help me, and that is to talk to friends, talk to family, Facebook, telephone call, and exercise, walk outside. Somebody mentioned gardening. I love gardening. And it's something that really that comes naturally to you. Try to pursue it in a positive way.
That's great. All right, terrific. Gerald, let me start with you. If people want to get in touch with Nami in Frederick County, what's the best way to do that?
It is to dial 211.
Great.
Just simply 211. We also have a website with our another phone number on it, but 211 is what everybody can remember.
Great. 211 will get you to NAMI, which stands for the National Alliance on Mental Illness in Frederick County.
Yes.
Great. Carroll, what about getting in touch with you in the Carroll County NAMI?
410-857-3650.
We say it one more time.
410-857-3650.
Great. And they can call anytime?
Anytime.
That's great. And Stephanie, how about people in Montgomery County?
In Montgomery County, you're going to find the most information on our website, and that's NAMI MC. The MC stands for Montgomery County.org. That's NAMIMC.org. There we have our crisis guide, the schedule for 13 support groups, which are happening online, schedule for our classes, which are currently enrolling. Again, everything is free. There's also a special NAMI COVID resource guide. And then we also have our go-to resources that we share with community members divided by category, whether that's housing, legal, trusts, special needs planning, you name it. And so that website's NAMIMC.org. You can also email us at info@NAMIMC.org, or you can call us at 301-949-5852. We are answering the phone during business hours, Monday through Friday. It is not a crisis line, it's a warm line, is what we call it.
Awesome. That's Stephanie Rosen and Carroll Carminic and Gerald Blessing. Thank you all for the great work you're doing to promote mental health, emotional health, and happiness in our community at a very tough time. I'm very grateful to you all for what you're doing. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your support.
You bet.